An epic flood, dynamic weather systems, character voice lines, and the return of the Seven. Let's talk about Fortnite Season 3. Hello and welcome to PlayStation Grenade. It's the best part of the season. The live event approaches and the leaks and rumours begin to land about the new season. But before we break down everything, we have a tradition to keep. Every season there's a comedy skin in the Battle Pass. We've had a tomato-headed vampire and a James Bond banana. But now, can you guess what it'll be in Season 3? My money is on a SpongeBob SquarePants crossover. Sit your butt down for 10 minutes, slap code ADAMARU in the store to support this content, and let's go through 14 Season 3 leaks and insane theories. Let's start with what we think we know. I'm sure you've heard the flood theory by now. Over the last few weeks, the storm circles, the clouds in the sky, and the rivers have been acting rather strangely. On top of that, the return of the No Sweat insurance company, which specialises in protecting against natural disasters. By throwing these two theories together, we come to the conclusion a flood theme is inevitable for Season 3. And yeah, Sony have even accidentally leaked the icon for the new season. Definitely a flood. And Fortnite also has a habit of foreshadowing future content in live events. During the Travis Scott concert, we all swam around letting Epic test their new mechanics on an audience who didn't know what was going on. Clever guys. The thing which I question right now though is how do we breathe underwater? At present, we drown. But let's just put a pin in that for the time being. Basically, it's hard to refute a flood is coming. But let's add to this. Remember a few seasons ago I suggested elemental effects would come to Battle Royale in Season 8. Fire, ice, that kind of thing. Well, I was sorta right. A volcano destroyed structures, which is fire damage. Well, now in Season 3 of Chapter 2, this premonition is gaining traction. A mysterious leaker reached out to a YouTuber named Tabor Hill with more leaks, suggesting that fire damage is not only back, but it's dynamic and environmental, meaning everywhere a fire starts, it will continue spreading until the entire building or structure is ablaze. What a change that could be. And yet again, this is being tested in-game at the petrol and gas stations, and TNTina's gas canisters too. Think about how great it would be to burn down someone who's cranking 90s. Oh, goosebumps. And once again, this was in Travis Scott's event, hiding in plain sight with fireballs and burning roller coasters. Other things that could return with this fire damage is the LTM The Floor is Lava. I honestly cannot wait to play that with my community. It's gonna be lit. Yeah, you're here for the dad jokes. So I decided to go down the elemental damage effects and link that with the weather machine we're expecting Midas to reveal at the agency. And I think we have one of the greatest rumours and potential leaks ever. Instead of us being responsible for burning down structures, nature could do this. We already have lightning bolts in game. Do you remember how Kevin the Cube began life? Could we see lightning hit trees or buildings and cause them to burn? From what I've witnessed, Epic are mimicking what made them so successful in Chapter 1. For example, there wasn't a live event in the first season, and in Season 3, meteors began to fall and impact battles. Suddenly, lightning strikes causing fire doesn't seem so far-fetched. And heck yes, I'm going to continue with this. I think we will see dynamic weather changes in Fortnite. We already have a structured day-night cycle in-game, but not dynamic weather. Could Midas's device change everything we know and spark freak weather effects? The idea of everything being flooded is quite entertaining, but honestly, would you want that for 4 months? I doubt it. So what if the floods are only one part of this? Like I said, lightning bolts could return, but check this. Look at the rivers in-game right now. The water levels rise and then quickly lower again. This could be the same for the flood. For example, in one game, the water could be extremely deep. And then in another, it could be a drought, or the water could have dried up. The next game, it may be raining with those bolts of lightning and the damage they cause. In the next game, the weather could be so hot our builds burn down in 30 seconds. So there is so much potential to create LTMs around the weather. And it looks like I'm not the only person to notice this. Reddit user William Bash made mock-up images of all the elemental weather changes that could impact the island. Some of these are brilliant, either as an LTM or in the BR mode. rain and fog to change visibility and sound, lightning which destroys everything on a tile, kinda like the burning effect but more instantaneous, a storm tornado which completely destroys a POI, and a sandstorm which again has been hinted at in previous updates and currently can be found in Save the World. Think of all the things that this could bring back too. Remember the tacos falling from the sky in Season X? Or the stars up at the suburbs? So much potential. Please make this rumour a reality, Epic. But to be honest, I just want to play the Floor is Lava again. Pretty please. So let's go back to the event this weekend, intriguingly named The Device. I decided to research if those words had been used in the game before, and found this.
What I didn't factor was that the only way to trigger the device was from within the loop itself.
Back in Season X, the Visitors recordings told us about a device before. Back then, the device was something used by the Seven, remember them? The intergalactic group who broke us away from the Singularity loop in Chapter 1. Could the device in Chapter 2 be the return of the Seven? Could Midas be one of the Seven, hence why he doesn't divulge his plan? Or a better theory, could the engineer, the girl in the photograph, be one of the Seven? So far this chapter, only a single wood carving has told us about the identity of the Seven, and only 3 have been revealed thus far. We'll know more once the device is activated, so remember to come back. I'll try and find all the secrets for that. Also, here's another thing I noticed whilst researching this. The Visitor says something else. Listen again.
When I hear this again, will it help me remember? Or once looped, will I be just as muted as the others?
The Visitor directly tells us that characters have been muted up to this point, whereas in Chapter 2, some characters can speak. Okay, it's not really speaking, it's, well, hear for yourself. If you play Save the World, you already know the voices of many of the characters, including Penny.
Yeah, it's got everything. Garbage, rats, severe structural damage.
Penny. Could we see voice lines added to Fortnite? Epic! I'd really like to be a voice character, please. I need to find a purpose for my worthless life. Also, this would make battle passes completely unmissable to unlock new voice lines for your favourite characters.
Crazy mother.
Let's get back to the leaks. As many people are guessing, the chances of an Aquaman crossover are pretty strong, and many people are suggesting sharks will be a new vehicle in the new season. I don't have any proof of that, so here's my glider. I knew it would come in handy one day. Well, the thing I'm struggling to understand is how can we swim underwater and stay alive? Have you tried it currently? If we stay submerged too long, we pop our clogs. Well, gaming history has taught us that bubbles could be a way to survive underwater, and with the leakers proclaiming Aquaman is coming, what about a mermaid ability? Or a male one? What the hell do you call a male mermaid? Merman? Merdude? Yeah, it's definitely Merdude. A perfect middle ground between swimming with your legs and riding a shark. Another thing coming from the Tabor Hill leaks are the quick change booths staying in the game for skin changes mid-match. Well, what if these gave us scuba gear for underwater shenanigans? It would keep the mechanics relatively based in real life. Of course, everything I've talked about needs to be proven, which nobody has done just yet, but the clues are always in the Battle Pass. Let's quickly check it and note the following tiers. At tier 19, the image shows rain and lightning backing up our theory about dynamic weather changes. At tier 41, a rainbow can be seen, foreshadowing the phenomenon when certain weather patterns change rapidly. And at tier 65, we see fire damage has burnt down the farmland. This could be via the event on Saturday, or this could show how environmental flames will work. At tier 27, the circular clouds appearing above the agency can be seen, and at tier 73, there's a scuba diver foreshadowing our ability to swim underwater. All the clues were here from day one. My mind is blown. I may be in love with you, Epic Games. By the way, use code ADAMARU when you grab the next Battle Pass. Thanks, dudes. The new season leaks have also confirmed new weapons, like a rocket to take out those choppers. How great would that be? It's also noteworthy that the remote-controlled rocket is once again on the table. Other weapons hinted at include the flare gun. Do you remember seeing that a few seasons back? And many have suggested that this fire damage could be a result of that flare gun. Here's a weird story, but I feel like now is the best time to tell it. In April last year, I was lucky enough to go to the Borderlands 3 reveal. There were many Epic employees there, and I chatted with as many as I could. I don't know if they were developers, management, or they just made the tea, to be honest, but one conversation, thinking back now, could be related to Season 3. A group of us were chatting about weapons and the opportunity to bring melee weapons from Save the World. Well, one of those guys talked about an underwater harpoon, more like a trident. Back then I thought nothing of this, but now I'm thinking he may have leaked the future a year before it happened. What do you think? A trident in Fortnite? Could be possible. Whilst we're on the underwater groove, there are a few things we should remember in the water around the current map. For example, Truckosaurus remains in the sea. He hasn't moved since the first day of Chapter 2. There's an upturned boat in the shallow water around the island, and there's lots of these underwater faces to discover. But I was thinking about Chapter 1. Do you remember when this happened? In the final battle, the Polar Peak monster ripped off the mech's arm and spat it into the sea. If we're going underwater in Chapter 3, let's try and find where this relic of yesteryear is. Hopefully it came through the black hole with us. Fingers crossed. Another thing we spoke of in Chapter 1 was the ability to create our own sprays and customise how we look. Then a season later, Donald Mustard, the creative director of Epic Games, told us about the importance of player agency and us players dictating the changes in the game. Well, these theories came together in Chapter 2 to create Maya, a one-time character completely unique to you, the player. So it's safe to say next season we have another opportunity to do this. Maybe creating a glider or an umbrella or a weapon wrap. Or maybe, just maybe, we can create our own sprays. It's technically already happening with the recent competition Epic held. The issue will always be though, if we give everyone this design opportunity, will they create something which is non-PG, like a hairy rocket ship or a couple of melons? It's safe to say more customization is coming to Fortnite and more player choice too, deciding what happens to the island. The strongest choice right now is to let us customize our own umbrellas. Remember back when Apex Legends arrived and Epic were quick to add reboot vans to Fortnite and the tagging system too? Yeah, some people call that stealing, other people call that incorporating ideas. I'll let you decide which is which. The main thing I wanted to note though was that Warzone has a really cool mechanic called the Gulag. I'm sure you've seen all the memes about it. Could we see Fortnite add this to their game? After being eliminated in the game, you take part in a one-on-one competition for the chance to redeploy into the match. It is pretty fun, but Epic could change this. For example, they could make it a race to a rift. Whoever gets there first survives, whoever doesn't is out of the game. They could be mini-games, just little things to change the flow of the game and make being eliminated a little less stressful. What do you think? It's safe to say Fortnite is here to stay. Every competitor has fallen away over the last 3 years, and Fortnite aren't resting on their laurels. The Party Royale mode came out, it's a great inclusion, and hopefully next season Save the World will once again get its story content which ties in everything that happens on Battle Royale Island. We all need to know about Penny and one day get her into Battle Royale. The Queen of Thick needs to be set free. But in all seriousness, Epic have hinted multiple times that they are growing Fortnite into more than just Battle Royale, and I'm all for that. I'm Adam from PlayStation Grenade. All the best for the event this Saturday. Thank you so much for watching until this point, if you're still here. I hope you're still here. And thanks to all these people on screen now. They've used my code over the last week. If you're not there, don't worry, you'll be here on Wednesday. Thanks again for your time. See ya.